There's another biopic that came out this week. It's called Bohemian Rhapsody, and in all honesty, go see that one. But we're here to talk about First Man, so let's do that. From start to finish, I was holding my breath as we're taking through the trials and tribulations of the moon landing. It's bold and true, but in all that, I will say up front, it is super slow when we're not in space. Many of my fellow cinema goers got up during the course of the film, and generally they were just restless throughout. It's sad that in the world of superhero films, the attention span of an audience is kinda really diminishing, but I'm gonna do my very best to convince you that First Man is a brilliant film that you should see. First Man centers around the moment that made Neil Armstrong a household name. From engineer to astronaut, the film shows the ups and downs of getting man to moon, whilst also highlighting the effect it all had on the man and his family. The visuals, sound, and acting is incredible, but coming from the team that made La La Land, you might think it might be over-stylized or something, but no. First Man has shown that Damien Chazelle has some serious directing chops. From intense, harrowing flight tests to simple domestic emotion, Chazelle communicates the film's plot through very little dialogue and a heap of thought-provoking shot choices. Get ready to hold on those shots too, because they will linger and you're going to need to have patience this time around. Speaking of patience, this film can be a little bit tedious. Whilst it's based on the life of Armstrong, it's also an adaptation of the First Man novel. So the movie comes with the typical adaptation woes. With over 700 pages to fit into 2 hours, scenes can feel unnecessary in the grand scheme of things, but they may have felt more grounded in the book. There's also a heap of time jumps, which may be annoying for some, but it's handled in a capable and creative way. Elements in the mise-en-scene change, and dialogue subtly informs you of the passing of time. There's also big old timestamps if you really need them, also staying with plot, and people are human. Everything that happens for a reason. This isn't a docudrama where people fall into fame and opportunity. Neil and his fellow NASA alumni work for their achievements. The journey to Apollo 11 isn't glossy. Death and despair is highlighted as much as the immense achievements. It's just refreshing to walk away from a docudrama and just feel like, you know, as an audience, you can go on that very same journey with a lot of practice and a lot of time, but it's not unattainable. Unlike Bohemian Rhapsody. It's not just incredible coincidences that lead to impossibilities. The unfortunate side of the story is, of course, family life, both contextually and as a downside of the film. Whilst the struggles of work versus home life and the many incidents that are strung throughout are poignant and powerful, they often halt the pace. And that's of course the point, to show the contrasting worlds, but it's going to be a major disconnect for some people. Claire Foy also gets the short end of the stick as Janet Sheeran, with her character and kids often tacked on for emotional resonance. Neil has an incredibly moving arc in the film on his own, but I just can't help but feel the family should have been just a tad more involved. Though we certainly don't know what happened behind closed doors, everything feels right. Couple this with incredibly realised moments in time, the whole film just seems to scream, "Use me for 3 lessons, teachers! I'm your saviour!" I don't know why it's like a really screechy Cockney voice, but anyway, they actually seamlessly slip in the all-famous moon landing line without breaking a step. It's seamless! As are the visuals. They're stunning. It's not just the simple stuff that feels perfectly recreated. Space has never felt so daunting. The simple gleam of sunlight off the Apollo 11 surface had me crying with visual glee. Space is empty, endless, but also magical when it needs to be. And oh boy, every single moment of space or flight will have you fingernailless by the end of it. There's something so raw and practical about the almost impossible visuals that really sells that this film is made with love. And the score. This will be divisive. It comes from Justin Hurwitz, most recently working on La La Land, and he has certainly developed a sound. From the warm, classic Hollywood tone to his brass swells and softer Celeste. As a lover of La La Land, I undeniably adore this score, but I can't deny also that it's kinda similar. Very similar, and some people might not like that. I like it. It kinda sets up a Chazelle cinematic universe. Despite its pacing issues and marginalization of Armstrong's home life, First Man is an informative and stunning film that I recommend you see on the biggest screen possible. Seriously, there's a new cinema that's showing it in 4D, and I want to go see it in 4D. I want to be an astronaut. I want to pay money to spew up my guts. So those were my thoughts on First Man. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down in the comments. Have you seen Bohemian Rhapsody? How good is it? Boy. I need to see it again. I have already seen it again. I've seen it twice. There's some videos up there. You can also subscribe over there, and we have a link to our Patreon down below. It's very hot, and I need that fan back on. Sorry, I'm just gonna do that.